Wow, the current day of music consumption to me is a very interesting thing because we don't necessarily have to depend on old school avenues via radio, videos per se, because of the internet. You know, a lot of people have their options and their choices are limitless with YouTube and SoundCloud and, you know, iTunes. People are just, you know, exploring and seeing what's out there, and, you know, don't necessarily have to depend on what's dictated to them by the music industry. So that's the good part, but the bad part is because of that way of consuming the music and exploring, trying to find the music, it's too widespread and music kind of gets lost, especially people who are trying to make new music and, you know, aspiring artists, and, you know, it's just so many people now just putting music. It's just too much information, and I find that, you know, traditionally when we've had physical formats, starting mainly with vinyl, it was more tangible. You felt it, you know, you can see it, you can pull out the inner sleeve and read lyric sheets. You were more, you know, it was more of an intimate thing to experience music. Even down to people gathering in record stores, you know, seeing like-minded people who are, you know, just basically after the same thing, you know, just gathering and talking about records, you know, looking at pictures, or, you know, just discussing music in general. I think that's a lost art. I do feel good about the resurge of vinyl. There's a lot of, you know, nice little boutique record stores opening up all over the place. Unfortunately, there's not as much of the demand can't be met with the production of vinyl due to the lack of vinyl pressing plants. But there's still at least there's an effort with, you know, people trying to press vinyl and bring it back to where it used to be. And there's a whole generation of people who were born in the 90s into the digital world that missed out on that, and they find records and vinyl exciting. You know, I have a lot of mixed emotions about it, but I do believe that experiencing music physically is much more gratifying than music just being in the air, you know, digitally. It's just more, you know, attached to it, I guess. It's a better experience.
Every week we stream the world's best DJs from the club in the corner of our office, and today we have DJ Spinna on the decks. Oh yes. Make sure you subscribe to Mixmag TV and enjoy the stream.
Getting into making records, I came in as a hip-hop producer, DJ, because it was quite the mode of the time and easier to do, and I'm a b-boy at heart as well. Delving into house and, you know, the electronic world was inevitable because I got to experience house music in its pure essence at a very early age. Started clubbing before the legal age of clubbing. I got to go to the Paradise Garage, which, you know, at the time was the pinnacle, the main hub for the house music scene in New York City. I went at the very end of, you know, of that whole era, the year that it closed, but at least I understood what the vibe was supposed to be about. Having gone there, you know, it just brings everything home. So I've always been into it. You know, it's not something that, you know, to say that I got into hip hop and started making all these great independent underground hip hop records, and then all of a sudden I developed this taste for house. It's always been there, especially as a DJ. You know, you had to be quite diverse in New York City and play everything, especially in the 80s and 90s. And back then it was, you know, you rocked the party, you know, and you're playing long sets and you had to take them on that journey. So as a producer, by the late 90s, I was really had a discontent for the direction that hip hop was going, and it became primarily about money, and there became an influx of basically too many artists putting records out there that were meaningless after a while. So I made a conscious decision not really to take part in that, and I got bored. I basically got sort of burnt out in a way because I did so many records in such a short period of time, and I like to, you know, kind of delve in one thing and then move on after a while. So I started experimenting with house, and to be truthful, the first house demo I ever made was while I was at my university, Binghamton University, SUNY Binghamton, upstate New York, and I took a MIDI course. You know, basically learning how to work MIDI, electronic, you know, instruments or whatever. And one of my exams was producing a track, and my first track was actually a house record. I mean, a house demo, and it was very influenced by Pacific State, because I was really in love with that Pacific 808 track that came out. So, you know, truth be told, you know, I've been trying to mess with it for a long time, but, you know, after Days Like This came out, the Sean Scoffy track, and it blew up and it became this anthemic thing globally till this day, you know, I figured, why not? Why not go for it and try to keep that vibe going? You know, I still love my hip hop, I still love making beats. That's never gonna go away. In fact, you know, I'm still, throughout the years, I've done records with a lot of people on the hip hop side, but I choose wisely who I work with. But I like this journey that I'm on right now with the house thing, because I think I've traveled to places and done some really amazing events and gigs that I probably wouldn't have done otherwise.
And washes away all my pain, and that doesn't seem like reality, but it's here right in front of me. I love days like this, yeah, I love days like this. It's here, here comes the sun.
Wow, my friendship with Stevie Wonder, it's a blessing. Many people know by now that I've been doing these honorary events, tribute parties called Wonderful for Stevie for quite some time now. Started in 2001, really 1999, and with Bobito. Shout out to Bobito Garcia. And as of 2007, I've continued that journey. Bobito has stepped away, and I've continued this journey. And throughout the years, Stevie and I have developed a really great rapport. I've ended up in his studio, ended up doing a few events with him on stage, and you know, he's a special individual.
So you're celebrating Spinna's birthday, huh? I was hearing a little bit of all I do when I first connected up. So you guys are playing some Stevie Wonder. Wow. I'm hoping you come back to London very soon, actually. Well, I wanted to wish you a happy birthday, and I know that also running your father's life on this day, so I just want to say congratulations, and I send everybody there lots of love.
Thank you.
We get together real soon.
Thank you.
Please be well.
Thank you.
Please be positive, and please just show everybody love and respect.
Always.
Let's make this thing we call unity become a reality. All right, play some more music. It's enough of my talking.
Thank you, Stevie. Make some noise for Stevie Wonder, y'all. Make some noise.
Yeah.
Love you, man. Love you.
Love you too. God bless you.
some of the works that I've done for BBE Music, well, I believe the first thing was a mix for the Strange Games and Things series, and in my travels I've gotten a lot of great comments about that mix. That was early 2000s, and then I was commissioned to come up with this record, part of the Beat Generation series, so I did an album called Here to There, which, you know, that whole vibe was for producers and DJ producers to express themselves without any limitations and make the kind of records that they have always wanted to make. So on that album, it spans from hip-hop to broken beat to house to neo-soul, if you want to call it that. And a lot of great, I've done some great compilations with BBE as well, actually compiling music. Funk rock is one of them, you know, classic funk rock records. The Boogie Back, which came out a few years ago. Another Strange Games and Things. And most currently out now is Sound Beyond Stars, which pretty much is a body of work of like the house spectrum, you know, of my house remixes over a span of like 12, 13 years. And coming soon this year, 2015, Jig Masters, we are reunited. Actually, we never really broke up, but we are gonna come back out on BBE Music and shock the world. That's one thing to look out for. And then most likely a full-on produced new house production record, you know, featuring various artists. And, you know, just keep your eyes and ears open. I don't want to say too much, but those are